the next thing to do here is to prep for the first session. I'll do a little bit of a preamble of the setting, and then we'll set you up for the pregame, which is essentially narrative, and it's a summary of how you came to be where you are. So it doesn't necessarily have to be, some people like to do it in kind of role-playing mode, but you don't have to do that. It's basically set up so that you have a rationale for why you're where you are, and you know what it is that you're trying to do in your first session here, or your first scenario. Now the setting, you've read it, so you know this already. So I'll summarize it for the people who are watching this video. This is basically a scenario where Earth has undergone a drastic change. There's been a lot of different natural calamities, and out of that has come a situation where the West Coast, which is where the main part of the game is set, West Coast has been swallowed up by the sea and created an inland sea, if you will, called the San Andreas Sea, and flooded the Sacramento Valley, essentially. And out of that rose an island, which obviously was a mountain before. We call that Orion Island, and that is where Neo City is located. And Neo City is the core setting of the game here. It's a little bit like West Berlin in the Cold War era, in that it has isolated itself from the rest of the world to stay away from all of the chaos that has happened, and the chaos that has erupted when, global famine has arisen, and there's a lack of potable water, etc., and then resources are very scarce, and there's basically fighting everywhere. The background behind the island here is that it used to be the campus of a corporation called Seraphim Industries, and has become a little bit of what we today would know as Silicon Valley. So it's a tech haven, basically, and it's isolated itself from the rest of the world to protect its inventions, and it's also using some of those inventions as in a monopoly kind of situation, almost like extortion against the rest of the world. It is a corporate ruled society with clear fascist tendencies. But people don't know much about it because it is so isolated. So the gist of the game is that you're being sent into Neo City to find out what makes it tick. And depending on who's your employer, you will have different missions in the city. Looking a little bit closer at the map here, we have Orion Island here, which is surrounded by, it has 3 bridges going out from it, and it's surrounded by 3 different settlements. Kindred City, which is basically a refugee camp. There's Albemuth, which is run by a militia and is very violent and very aggressive. And then you have Holden, which is a little bit of a hippie commune. They are mainly agrarian, and they actually export some things to Neo City in return for tech and resources. There's also a little island to the southeast called Eldon Island, which is not very well known, and not many people know exactly what it is about. That's a short preamble. You find yourself in Holden. Why you've arrived there is up to you to define. Could be many reasons. You are being employed by something called the Consolidated States, which is essentially the remnants of the United States. And they are simply, for political reasons, they're simply trying to break into Neo City and figure out how to secure some of their secrets for their own purposes, and obviously mostly the tech. You are being handled by this corporate stooge person here, who is giving you your instructions. And then, let's see, you get a little handheld device, or a wrist arm band kind of device with some communication capabilities to it. You get your orders on this device. You get a little tactical map in this device. You are also equipped with a little bit a chip, which is a temporary identification chip. So every Neo City inhabitant gets these surgically implanted shortly after birth, whereas any visitor is assigned a visitor's chip. And this is basically there just to make sure that you can pass the usual checkpoints and not stir any kind of suspicion. You also get this ring, which is basically unlocking your communications device so that you can receive secret messages on it. And you can also identify who's a friend or foe. So if anybody else has a similar ring, you will notice when you shake hands that they're a friend. And then the orders that you have are the following. And you're first of all instructed to destroy this message after reading it. Number one is to get inserted into Neo City. Number two is to get to the meetup, and that is a Myrist chapel in the government sector. What that means, you don't actually know. And the whole operation seems a little bit ramshackle, so you don't really get a lot of information, and it seems very confusing in general. The information is on a need-to-know basis, and they keep a lot of things secret from you guys, just so that you can't spill the beans if you're arrested and interrogated. You're supposed to contact the Reverend Dubois when you get into the city, and then retrieve the location and the access code of your safe house, which is from where you will be operating. And then there should be a comms device there in the safe house, and you're told to power it on and then await further orders.
Okay.
In the little wrist device that you have, you also get a map of Neo City, and you see something that looks like some sort of transportation network. So that is it.
Rail.
Yeah, possibly, yes. You don't know. And again, information is very scarce. Now, you are given, and this is in narrative mode now, so we don't need to dig into each situation here in great detail, but you are given a choice to be inserted into the city using a glider or a parachute, to do it via submarine, to do it on a cargo ship, to enter the city on a convoy, or to just enter the city as any kind of tourist or any kind of visitor would on a blimp, and then simply, go through customs as any kind of visitor would. Obviously, you would have a fake identity, so you would hopefully be able to pass through all the security checks that way. What's your choice?
I'd probably parachute in. That makes the most sense, because I figure I'm probably a little heavier being a sim, and as long as I don't deploy my parachute too high, that won't show up on radar.
Right. Makes sense. All right. So, because you are parachuting in, that's dependent on the winds, and where you land is something that you have limited control over. So you will be dropped in from a flying vehicle of some kind, let's say a helicopter, and based on the strength of the winds and the direction of the winds, that'll determine exactly where you land. So now I will ask you to roll 1d8 followed by 1d12.
Okay. D8 and a D12. So apparently I rolled...
let's see, an 8 and a 10.
Okay.
That means that you land here. Let's see, there we go. So this is where you land on this little promontory here.
Okay.
And what you know, and what is showing in your little wrist device here, is that you're supposed to get to the Myrist chapel in the government sector, and the government sector is up here. So you have some ways to go, and without getting into too much detail about how you go there, we need to plot a course for you to get there, and how you basically move. Each hexagon on here is, let's see, it's 10 kilometers or 6 miles. And it takes you on foot, it takes you 2 hours to move one hexagon. If you run, which you can do, and you can avoid getting fatigued since you're a sim, that takes 1 hour. And then you can obviously try to secure some sort of transportation or what have you.
seems like I feel like if I go just north, I feel like I could get on whatever that transportation system is.
All right. So you see, given that this is midnight now, it's very dark. You can see, obviously silhouettes of tall buildings and stuff, but what you see immediately nearest to you seems to be, well, there's a lot of ocean-going freight from here, so you're guessing that this is a port. And then you can also see that there's some unnatural light coming from this area to your west here. Kind of a glowing light. It's a little bit pulsating, and you can also hear very kind of deep thumping, sort of metallical noises from there.
So it's either a rave or it's a dockyard. I guess I'll go west. I'll go towards it. I mean, it's a little bit further away than the other one, but they're semi-equidistant. So,
All right, you move in this direction.
yep.
And I assume you're running, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, until I see people, and then I'll just move at a brisk walk, so I don't look like just some lunatic who's out for a run at midnight.
Right, right. So this is actually, you don't meet many people at all. This is heavily industrialized, and actually you're passing by what you assume would be some kind of iron ore smelt works or something like that. It's incredibly polluted, and it's very loud, and you see a person here and there that seems to be more or less just either vagrant, or they're maybe leaving work for the night. You've just passed, so midnight was when you were inserted, and then you ran for basically 2 hours straight to get to here, and you didn't pass very many people at all, and you basically just tried to navigate your way through this like industrial maze. Now, when you approach this, and actually, this is when I need to make a couple of rolls, which I will do, but I will not tell you what they are. All right. So as you approach, what you now can see against the sky, the deep blue, dark blue night sky, is that this is some form of rail system. It's maybe let's say 10, it's maybe 40, 50 feet in the air, and the train cars, you see them going back and forth. There's a light coming in from inside them that casts a kind of an eerie shadow on the ground. Very few people seem to be on board, but they're running anyway. And the dots on here are stations. You can tell that when the train hits this circle here, it goes around in a circle and then turns back out. And the stations with the white, the circled stations here, those are towers. So they don't just have platforms; they also seem to go underground.
I'll try to get to that, I guess, that southernmost station, and just try to like ride the tram or whatever.
That one. All right. As you approach,
I'm gonna wait and observe and see what people are doing when they get on. Like, are they scanning something? Is this like free for island residents? Is it,
Right. So this is obviously the end of the line here, and it's in the industrial sector. So most people who would be here normally would be here in the daytime. Everything that's automated is running at night, so there's very few people here at all. But you do see, and well, you might see. So I'm going to ask you to roll a hunch. And your difficulty rating, and this is something we didn't cover, but in the game you have difficulty ratings from 1 to 10.
Sure.
And when you roll for anything, you need to beat the difficulty rating, roll higher than it to succeed. And your hunch is what?
A 1.
So you roll 1d10, and then you need to beat, what did I say?
I don't know.
I don't think I said. So you will have because it's dark, but you are also kind of observing and being kind of meticulous here. You get a 4. So you need to beat a 4.
Nope.
You did not. So you turn a corner, and all of a sudden you are basically right up against what looks like some sort of robot character of some sort.
Sure.
Obviously being a sim, that this is a more primitive model. of yourself, and it is usually remote operated, and you can tell from it's very rigid, and then when you approach it, seems to be receiving some sort of signal, and then it just turns its head towards you. um, it appears to be recognizing you as a fellow sim. Do you lean into that?
Uh, can I tell that it's being remote? You said it's remote operated?
That's usually the case. They have the early models have some sort of limited um, um, self-control and self-awareness. They're either heavily programmed so that they follow certain strict protocols, or
Sure.
they are actually remote operated. Now, being that it's late at night, it's probably just running on some sort of standard protocol.
So if it's running on its own protocols, I'll lean into that and try to logic tree my way through what it's probably looking for or what it's trying to do.
Yep, it's looking to scan you.
Um,
And you have that guest chip implanted.
so I'll hold up the guest chip.
Okay. All right. It seems content with that, so it just goes back to its guard duty or what have you.
I will get on the train, I guess.
Yep. So there's an elevator. One goes down, one goes up, and the one that goes up to the platform. Very soon there's a train arriving, which I meant to. Come on. Hello. Oh, I'm in the wrong slide deck. Sorry. Well, here's what you're looking at, except a little darker. So this is Neo City, as you can see it in the distance, and these are the train cars.
Nice, very Disney monorail, like it.
Yep, yep. So you get on board. There's, can show you an image of that too. There's a gang member here and there. They seem to be the only ones who are out and about at this time. And this is what it looks like on the inside of that train car.
Okay, cool.
They don't seem to be paying you any attention whatsoever. All right. And you feel when the train starts going, you can feel, so the chip is implanted behind your ear, or it's fastened behind your ear, but that's where it would be implanted on a citizen. You feel when you get going and move away from the station, you feel it buzzing behind your ear.
Okay.
And then you continue going and you stop at a new station, and when it stops, you feel that buzzing again.
All right.
And now that you feel it buzzing, the doors remain open. And suddenly a voice comes on the loudspeaker, a metallic voice that says, "Please exit the train. You do not have clearance to proceed."
Sweet. I guess I will exit the train.
All right. You stand on the platform outside.
I'm going to see if I can find another one of those like robot scanner things.
All right. This station simply has a stairwell where you get down to ground level, but it doesn't go any further than that. So you go down onto the ground.
Yep. I'm gonna see if there's like in a normal train station, I'm gonna see if there's like some sort of like information kiosk or like like a help desk kind of computer. Again, it's the middle of the night, so I'm assuming there's no people, but
Gotcha.
some sort of like animated or automated like help desk.
Right. So what you can tell from this station is that it's very small. It's basically just a small platform with a stairwell going on top, and there seems to be almost nothing around here. What you do notice, though, is that you're gradually leaving the industrial area behind, so it gets less and less dense, and
Sure.
then you can see that it looks like there's like more habitation going forward to the north of you.
All right.
But no information kiosk or anything like that. It's actually pretty desolate right here.
So I guess I will just continue on foot since I don't really get tired. I'll just continue on foot. Um
All right.
I might. Yeah,
To the
I'll
north.
continue north. I'll kind of follow it if there's like roads or something.
Yeah, so on the map here, you will see, and it's probably easier if we look at that on this slide, a little clearer. So you see the lighter roads here. Those are street level, or yeah, I guess you'd say street level. And everything that is shaded in blue is subterranean.
Okay.
But you see there's some rather large avenues that you're running along.
Um, I'm gonna see if I can find some kind of like ground transportation, if possible.
So the odd thing is that you look around, it's dark and there's almost nobody out, but you don't see a lot of ground transportation at all. I mean, you don't see parked cars or anything. It looks very strange. It looks like for the majority, the transportation is this train system, this monorail train system, and then here and there you see these little odd monowheel scooters that are parked here and there.
Do the monowheel scooters look like they're for rent, or do they look like they belong to someone?
Some of them are locked up, but some of them are tied, are connected to some sort of pole that looks like it has some sort of interface on it.
I will attempt to use the interface, or at least like check out the interface.
All right, when you touch that pole, the little screen on the top comes alive, and then you see a menu of selections that you can make for how many hours you would like to rent this thing.
I will rent it for. I will estimate. How long do I think it'll take me to get from here to the like near the church?
It takes you 10 minutes to go one hexagon,
Okay, so
so roughly an hour.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So like 9 hexes, so like an hour and a half. So I'll rent it for an hour and a half.
Actually, it's 7, if I count it right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, so 70 minutes.
Okay, then I'll do that.
All right. Now, you do have built into your chip, you do have a kind of call it a bank connection where you have a certain number of credits assigned.
Sure.
Didn't roll for that. It says in the just to show people exactly what that is. It shows in your archetype uh, how much money you have, and money in NeoCity is counted in corporate credits.
Nice.
There is also something called citizens credits, which is basically corporate credits is if you have employment. Citizens credits are basically a form of subsidy. Now, citizens credits are only worth half of corporate credits. So if you wanted to buy something, you would have to pay double with citizens credits.
Sure.
But you do have some corporate credits that it says here. If you roll 1d10 and multiply by 10, we'll just add that to your character sheet.
Right. Sweet, 60.
All right. You have no idea exactly how much that is or what that's worth or anything.
Right.
But the machine chimes, and then you feel the chip buzzing again, and then you hear the machine saying, "1 corporate credit deducted."
Sweet. I will take my sweet monowheel bike and actually it's not a bike because it's a monowheel. I will take that and head into I guess the night.
Yeah. All right. So you take off and you meet almost no traffic. Here and there are some, people walking around. There's some other monowheel scooters zooming around, but weirdly, you can't see any other type of traffic aside from here and there. There's the occasional truck that, freight stuff. But you can see against the sky here and there that there's flying vehicles overhead.
Sure.
And you can also see that some of them, they're taking off and landing from tall buildings, but you never see one on the ground, essentially. But you zip along and get pretty far. We'll just move you along here.
Okay.
And then we'll see. What do you have here? Oh. So here you're going to have to make a choice. Which direction do you want to go from here?
I think from here it probably makes more sense to go left.
All right, so you go somewhere in this direction, and I need to roll again here. Uh-huh. All right. Nobody seems to be paying you any attention whatsoever. You see occasionally someone looks in your direction, but you don't seem to be drawing any attention to yourself. So you easily get further along, and you see how the buildings change, and this seems to be more of a commerce area. There's more stores. There's like boulevards for people who want to go shopping and stuff like that. Uh, it's a different character of the city. You can see to the east of you here is there's large towers up here that appear to be docking stations for blimps. At least that's what it seems like, because there are some that are kind of heading that way, and you can also see hidden by some other towers. You can see some that are docked next to those. So you assume that this over here would be some sort of transportation center. You proceed on your monowheel scooter, which zips along quietly with this electrical motor. And let's see, what do we have next? I can't even read. Okay, there we go.
I'm just a simple law-abiding citizen on my monowheel.
Yeah. You get to an intersection, and someone steps in front of you and raises an arm, raises a hand. Halt! It looks like a slightly more advanced model of Sim. You're still a model more advanced, and you can still tell that this is a Sim, but it doesn't look like a robot. It looks like it's shaped like a human being, but it's a little bit more plasticky looking, maybe.
I will pull my monowheel over, I guess, or just kind of remain where I am.
Identify your purpose in this sector.
You said this is a commerce area?
Yeah.
And it's, what time is it now?
It's bound to be around 5 in the morning, so the sun is starting to rise.
What's a reasonable reason? I will say I am on my way to pick up deliveries.
All right, you get to roll a poise, and I'll say that she doesn't really have any reason to suspect you, so I'll say it's a 4, difficulty rating 4.
All right, my poise is decent. So D10s again?
Yes. So that's something that we should say for the record, that humans always use D10s. Animals might use less. Large animals or monstrous beings might use up to D20s.
Okay. But I'm not human.
That's true, but you're designed to mimic a human.
Sure. Okay. All right. So my poise is 2. So I got a 10, a 2, and an 8.
Yeah, it's the individual dice that count, and you pick the highest
I'll
one.
take the 8, I guess.
Yeah, you take the 8, and that means that you succeed pretty well. Now, if you had not been in a situation where you needed to overcome a difficulty rating, but rather you would just roll to produce a result, like you would, for instance, if you're crafting something or building something, then you don't roll against a difficulty rating. You just roll and you record the result. So let's say that you were fabricating a rope. You would then roll whatever it is that you're using. You might be using knack for that. And then you record your result, and that then becomes the difficulty rating to break it. So if you roll a 10 or a 9, it's a very sturdy rope. If you roll a 1, then it'll probably break as soon as someone pulls on it.
I got you.
But anyway, you rolled an 8, which means that you convince the thing, and it says proceed, and then you can feel the chip buzzing again. And then you don't have any trouble whatsoever zooming along and zipping along up into the government sector. And that is where we will end with the visual of the government sector, which I need to zoom out to show. Here we go. You find your way into this little plaza behind a couple of alleyways here. And this is where it says that you're supposed to be reporting in.
I will make a point to very deliberately leave the mono wheel not near where I'm actually going to.
Okay. And
Like
then you
I'm gonna
walk the rest.
I'll find another recharge station or whatever, and I'll drop it off, and then I will
Okay.
deliberately walk by several more of them, and then head
Gotcha.
to like wherever I'm supposed to meet on foot. So
Yep. And the little handle device that you have, it pretty easily, pinpoints where you're at, and it tells you pretty accurately where you're supposed to go. You don't see anybody here yet. There's a dim light inside, so there seems to be somebody inside, or at least it's open. But there's really no activity, and that's where we will pause, and then we will pick up in the session 1 scenario on Sunday.
okay. Pretty
Alrighty.
easy. I mean, the rule set seems pretty straightforward. For anybody who's like new to this, obviously this runs on the star system, which Jay made. I like it. It's elegant. I like that it's got, basically you've got 6 stats total. You've got them divided into like psyche and physical stats. I like the fact you have the average thing. It's pool based, but not really, because you just get extra dice for like target dice. So
It's a
obviously the better
mini
you are at
dice
something,
pool system. Yeah, it's a
so the
mini
better
dice
you are,
pool
the more
system.
dice you'll get.
Yep. And
Okay.
then we didn't really get into expertise, so eventually you will, and especially in combat that matters, because if you had, let's say, 3 expertise in a particular discipline of combat, then those 3 dice you can actually split up. So you can use them 3 in 1 to get a better result, or you can split them up to do 3 different actions.
Okay.
So that's the basis of the combat system, and we will get into that more in the session on Sunday, which will be posted as a separate video. But hope you've enjoyed this demo of the character creation and a little bit of a pre-game.
Yeah, no, I like it. I think it's really easy. Anybody who watched the first 15 minutes is going to figure it out really simple. And even if you didn't, if you just open to that page of the book, it literally walks you through that checklist, walks you through exactly what you need to be able to build a character pretty quick.
Yep.
If people don't want to write stuff, they can just use the pre-gen roles, and they can either use the pre-gen characters, or they can just use the random generator and use it that way.
Yep.
But yeah, well, I'm psyched, man. I'll see you on Sunday. I hope everybody enjoyed it.